What's up guys, it's your favorite Kiwi coach, and give me 6 months of your time, I'll give you the best golf swing of your life. So welcome back to the channel. In this particular video, we're going to be doing another client before and after video. If you are one of those people out there that have been struggling with maybe getting a little bit too narrow at the top of the swing with your arms and getting a little bit crossed, well, this is the perfect video for you. This client had exactly that issue and we were able to solve it, as well as if you're also steep in transition, we also solved that as well. So stay tuned and let's get into the video. But before we get into the video, I got to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is Kiwi Golf Japan. If you're too busy to come to lessons or you can't make our locations, Kiwi Golf Japan is the membership site for you. With over 150 plus videos of golf instruction, we have everything on the membership site that you could possibly want. So go ahead and check out that link down below. And now let's get into this analysis. All right, to start this video off, let's go ahead and play the before swing first, and we're going to play the after swing so you guys can get a general idea of kind of what we changed. And then after that, we're going to come back and discuss what we're going to be talking about first, what we'll talk about last, and then everything in between. So let's go ahead and take a look at the before swing. All right, so that's the before swing right there. Let's go take a look at the after swing now. All right, and that's the after swing right there. So as you can see, probably noticeably, the top of swing position is a lot different between the two, as well as the transition. Now in the after swing, I don't think it's completely completed, because right around P6, he's pretty far underneath the plane at this after swing. And then as you can see, the golf ball kind of launched off to the right quite a bit, which means his face angle was also open. So I still think there's a lot of room for improvement in the after swing, but I do think that the main things that we're trying to fix, which was top of swing and then transition, was able to be accomplished. So let's go ahead and talk about top of swing first. I want to go over really the elbow structure, club shaft movement, and then also the lead arm height, because I think those 3 points are really important. And then after that, we'll talk about the transition. And then in the transition, we're going to talk about kind of hand placement, club shaft movement, and then how the top of swing position changes made it a whole lot easier to get the position 5 changes. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the top of swing first. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about with the top of swing is just going to be the overall arm structure at the top. If we go take a look at the left arm, you can see that it's quite bent right here, and then the right arm as well, or the trail elbow, is also quite bent at the top of the swing. So he's looking like this. Now the main reason why I think a lot of people do this is typically for 2 reasons. One of the first reasons is they try to keep their eyes on the golf ball. So what happens is the neck right here, as they swing back, kind of stays still like this. And when your neck stays still, the spine can only rotate so much. So to complete the swing and get the swing long enough, a lot of you guys actually start to really bend the arms like this to try to get into more so of a full swing. So that would be the first type of person who ends up doing this. The second type of person doing this is more so doing it because they were taught to get lag in transition, or trying to get this kind of pro transition move. And what happens is you guys try to get lag more so with the arms bending than the wrist bending. And I think that's a big key difference between the two. Typically the pros, when they do it, they keep their arms pretty wide in transition, and they do it more so with the setting of the wrists as opposed to getting the elbows to actually break down. So one of these 2 reasons is probably most likely the reason why your arms are getting so bent at the top. And again, the best way to fix it, in my personal opinion, is just try to go through our how much and when system, the framework that we talk about, and I think it's really easy to fix it. But more on that how much and when later. Let's go into the next thing that we changed, which is going to be that club shaft position. So next thing that we tried to change was going to be this club shaft position right here. So this is crossed at the top. So if you go ahead and draw a line straight up like this, perpendicular to the ground, anything to the right of that line is going to be crossed the line. Anything to the left of this line is going to be laid off. Now the reason why we personally prefer laid off at Kiwi Golf Japan is we don't have to now flatten the club shaft in transition, stop that flattening, and then move our hands down. All we have to do is get into that top of swing position and then lower our arms down. So there's a lot less movement to be had, and that's why we personally would like to see the club shaft in a little bit more of a laid off position. Now the reason why this player is crossed at the top, I personally think has a lot to do with their elbow, but also the way they move their wrists, which we'll talk about here in a sec. But let's go highlight the elbow, because I think this is another big reason why he was getting crossed at the top of the swing. So if we go take a look at the elbow, it's pretty internally rotated at the top of the swing. So you can tell that by the angle that it's been created right here. So it's right around 26 degrees. Now we've talked about this in previous videos. This is really dependent on mobility of the player in terms of how much you can get the elbow kind of in this way. But for this player, he actually was relatively mobile with that wrist. So, or sorry, not the wrist, with the elbow. So I think that 26 degrees was still internally rotated too much in my opinion. I personally believe he could get 15 degrees or less, which is kind of close to what we got in the after swing. But again, the main reason why the internal rotation is an issue is because you internally rotate your your elbow like this, it's more difficult to now pronate your wrist or to flatten the club shaft at the top. So it's going to be easier to get that club shaft crossed at the top. And if that's something we want to get rid of at the top of the swing, then we're probably going to want to get the elbow a little bit less this way and then a little bit more into this fashion right here. And it's going to be easier to get the club shaft into that laid off position at the top. All right, so those are the main things that we changed at the top of the swing. Now there's a few other things with kind of the knee positions that we also changed a little bit in the after swing, but that's not really something that we actually talked about with the client. It's something that just kind of naturally happened. The last thing I do want to highlight, which is going to be that wrist motion, is what could be causing you to get crossed to the top, clearly with just the wrist movement. So if I go ahead and supinate my left wrist like this, that's going to be what gets the club shaft crossed or not. Now there's obviously other movements in the body like how you rotate, etc., that could also cause you to get more crossed, but for the most part, the direct correlator is going to be the wrist movement, and specifically it's supination in the left wrist like this. So if you turn your palm up to the sky, your left wrist, that's going to be supination, and that's exactly what this client was doing to get him crossed to the top. And then combine that with the elbow this way, again, it's difficult to flatten from there. All of this is leading him into that cross the line position at the top. So this is something that we absolutely wanted to fix in the after swing. All right, so if we go ahead and take a look at the after swing, let's go ahead and take a look at just the overall arm structure now. So if we go take a look at the left arm, we can tell that it's a lot less bent than before. As well, if we go take a look at the trail elbow or the trail arm, it's a lot less bent as before as well. So what are we doing? Well, really, we're just keeping the structure in the arms at the top. Again, the feeling that this client probably had to feel was just keeping his width from position 2. So whatever you are at position 2, don't try to bend the arms more from there. Try to keep whatever box or whatever width you've created all the way up to the top. If anything, if you're really chronically struggling with getting these arms really bent, you might need to feel like from position 2 you actually widen your elbows to the top. And I think a good feeling for a lot of you guys out there is focusing in on this right arm and trying to get it exactly straight at the top. If you can get that feeling, most likely you're going to end up looking like this after swing and you're not going to actually get that elbow straight. However, you will be more so into the correct checkpoint parameters. All right, the next thing that we changed in the after swing, which I think you can quite clearly see, is going to be the club shaft position. So now it's in the laid off position that we desire. It's not quite 100% perfect. It could be just a tiny bit flatter right here, but again, we're not going to nitpick at this particular point. We were just happy to see the club shaft change directions at the top of the swing. And then from there, one of the main reasons why it was easier for this player to do that was we got the elbow in a much better position at the top. So as you can see, he's right around 12 degrees, which is going to be 15 degrees or less. So it's going to be easier with that elbow when it's more so this way to get that club shaft a little flatter at the top. That's just the way the body works. And then last but not least, we move the wrist differently as well, right? So we focused on pronating a little bit more as opposed to supinating at the top. And then from there, we were able to get the club shaft into the correct position at the top, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So real quickly, I want to talk about the how much and when framework because I promised you I would talk about it. So the how much and when framework, we've gone over it in other videos, but for you guys who are just watching and are new to this is kind of how it works out. So how much would be the opposite of your current motion? So if you're across the line at the top, how much more do I need to feel in this direction based off my current feeling to get into the correct position? This is something we like to talk about a lot in our lessons, and it's really just how extreme can I make the feeling is typically what you need to think about, right? You got to go to the full 100% max of the opposite feeling for most of you guys to get anywhere near the exact checkpoint that you're trying to do. And then the when aspect is going to be, okay, so when do I start to move into that opposite direction? When do I start? When do I reach the full how much or that full 100% feeling? And then how long do I keep that feeling for? Do I get there and then immediately stop doing it or stop focusing on it? Or do I get there and then I try to keep it all the way down into the golf ball? Those are really kind of the data points, the fixed points you could call it, that you need to focus on to be able to get the results that we were able to get in this particular lesson. So that's it for you guys on YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me give you guys a quick summary of what was discussed and what was important for you guys. So first and foremost, I know a lot of you guys out there at the top of the swing have these really bent elbows and probably cross the line club shaft positions, and I know a lot of you guys want to fix that. So the best way that you guys can fix it is focusing on extension of the elbows at the top to start. I want you to guys use our framework of how much and when. So go to the opposite side for the 100% feeling. So the arm should stay fully extended after position 2, and you should try to keep that all the way to the top of the swing and all the way down into the golf ball at first. So that would be the win, right? So you started at P2, you get to the 100% pretty much right after P2, so that fully extended feeling, and then keep that all the way into the golf ball to start. If you guys can do that, most likely your top of swing position will look normal as opposed to the really bent elbows, so you'll be able to fix that. Then after that, in terms of the club shaft position, same idea. How much and when, 100% with the flattening feeling. Probably you want to start it right around position 3. You probably want to reach that 100% feeling when the hands get right around the shoulders on the downswing. And if you can do that, I guarantee that cross the line position most likely will not be as crossed at the top. It'll probably be in a lot better spot. And if you can't get all the way to your desired result to that top swing position, hey, give me 6 months of your time. I'll give you the best golf swing of your life. We're always there to help you out. So go check out our lessons down below. Check out that link. Support the channel by signing up for a membership. It helps us continue to create these videos for you guys. We really have enjoyed all of you members that have signed up. Thank you so much. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video.